Question 1. What is the legal age requirement for obtaining a real estate license in Florida? A. 18 years. B. 21 years. C. 25 years. Answer. A. 18 years. In Florida, individuals must be at least 18 years old to apply for a real estate license. Question 2. How many hours of post-licensing education are required for real estate sales associates in Florida? A. 14 hours. B. 45 hours. C. 60 hours. Answer. B. 45 hours. Florida requires real estate sales associates to complete 45 hours of post-licensing education. Question 3. What is the purpose of the Florida Real Estate Commission, FREC? A. To conduct real estate research. B. To enforce ethical business practices. C. To regulate the real estate profession. Answer. C. To regulate the real estate profession. The FREC exists to regulate and enforce the laws related to real estate practice in Florida. Question 4. Describe the concept of homestead exemption in Florida. A. Protection against forced sale by creditors. B. Tax exemption for all homeowners. C. Automatic qualification for all residents. Answer. A. Protection against forced sale by creditors. The homestead exemption in Florida provides homeowners with protection against the forced sale of their home to meet the demands of creditors. Question 5. What is the difference between a general warranty deed and a special warranty deed in Florida real estate transactions? A. General covers the property's entire history. Special only covers the period of ownership. B. General is for commercial. Special is for residential. C. There is no difference in Florida. Answer. A. General covers the property's entire history. Special only covers the period of ownership. A general warranty deed provides a full warranty of clear title that covers the property's entire history. A special warranty deed only covers the period during which the seller held title. Question 6. Define market value in the context of real estate. A. The highest price a property would sell for in a competitive auction. B. The price a buyer is willing to pay a seller agrees to accept. C. The tax-assessed value of the property. Answer. B. The price a buyer is willing to pay a seller agrees to accept. Market value is defined as the most probable price a property would bring in a fair sale. Question 7. What are the consequences of violating fair housing laws in Florida? A. Mandatory relicensing courses. B. Fines and possible imprisonment. C. No penalties, only warnings. Answer. B. Fines and possible imprisonment. Violations of fair housing laws can lead to serious penalties, including fines and imprisonment. Question 8. Explain the role of a title company in real estate transactions. A. To provide financing. B. To insure the title and manage the closing process. C. To appraise the property. Answer. B. To insure the title and manage the closing process. A title company ensures that the title to a piece of real estate is legitimate and may also manage the closing process. Question 9. What are the legal implications of a breach of real estate contract in Florida? A. Automatic contract renewal. B. Potential legal action for damages or specific performance. C. No implications as all contracts are advisory. Answer. B. Potential legal action for damages or specific performance. If a real estate contract is breached in Florida, the injured party may take legal action to seek damages or enforce the terms of the contract. Question 10. What is the Florida statute of frauds concerning real estate transactions? A. All real estate contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. B. Verbal contracts are sufficient for enforceability. C. Contracts must be witnessed by two non-involved parties. Answer. A. All real estate contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. The statute of frauds requires that certain contracts, including those for the sale of real estate, must be in writing. Question 11. How does the Florida Real Estate Commission discipline licensees? A. Immediate license revocation only. B. Fines, suspension, or revocation of license. C. Mandatory public apologies. Answer B. Fines, suspension, or revocation of license. FREC can impose disciplinary actions, including fines, suspension, or revocation of a real estate license based on violations. Question 12. What rights do tenants have under Florida law concerning security deposits? A. No rights to security deposits. B. Right to receive interest on deposits. C. Right to a written notice before the landlord can make a claim. Answer C. Right to a written notice before the landlord can make a claim. Florida law requires landlords to provide tenants with written notice before making any claim on their security deposits. Question 13. Describe the process of foreclosure under Florida law. A. Non-judicial process only. B. Judicial and non-judicial processes. C. Judicial process only. Answer C. Judicial process only. In Florida, foreclosure proceedings are conducted through the courts, making it a judicial process. Question 14. What is the importance of disclosure of material facts in real estate transactions? A. Only important for commercial transactions. B. Crucial for the legality and fairness of transactions. C. Not required by Florida law. Answer B. Crucial for the legality and fairness of transactions. Disclosing material facts is essential for maintaining the legality and fairness of real estate transactions in Florida. Question 15. How are real estate brokers compensated in Florida? A. Fixed salary by the state. B. Commission based on sales. C. Hourly wages. Answer B. Commission based on sales. Real estate brokers in Florida are typically compensated through a commission, which is a percentage of the transaction value. Question 16. What is the significance of the estoppel certificate in real estate? A. Confirms property insurance. B. Verifies the status of fees and assessments. C. Lists the property defects. Answer B. Verifies the status of fees and assessments. An estoppel certificate is used in real estate to verify the status of current fees and assessments against the property. Question 17. Define the term blockbusting and its legality in Florida. A. Legal tactic to lower property prices. B. Illegal practice of inducing homeowners to sell by instilling fear. C. Legal if conducted by licensed agents. Answer B. Illegal practice of inducing homeowners to sell by instilling fear. Blockbusting is an illegal practice in Florida where individuals induce property sales by suggesting that the neighborhood demographic is changing. Question 18. What are the requirements for a valid real estate advertisement in Florida? A. Must include the agent's full name only. B. Must include the brokerage's name. C. No requirements specified. Answer B. Must include the brokerage's name. A valid real estate advertisement in Florida must include the name of the brokerage to ensure accountability and transparency. Question 19. Explain the concept of net listing and its legality in Florida. A. Illegal involves selling property above market value. B. Legal involves selling property at market value. C. Illegal involves an agent setting their commission as the difference above a set price. Answer C. Illegal involves an agent setting their commission as the difference above a set price. Net listings are illegal in Florida as they can create conflicts of interest and unfair pricing. Question 20. What duties does a property manager have to the landlord and tenants in Florida? A. Only to collect rent. B. To maintain the property and manage tenancy relations. C. No specific duties defined. Answer. B. To maintain the property and manage tenancy relations. A property manager in Florida has duties to both the landlord and tenants, including maintaining the property and managing relationships and agreements between the parties. Question 21. How is commercial real estate zoned in Florida? A. Based on residential guidelines. B. According to local government zoning laws. C. No zoning laws apply to commercial real estate. Answer. B. According to local government zoning laws. Commercial real estate in Florida is zoned according to specific local government zoning regulations that dictate the types of activities that can occur on the property. Question 22. What is the impact of environmental regulations on real estate in Florida? A. No impact as real estate is exempt. B. Can restrict development and use of properties. C. Only affects agricultural land. Answer. B. Can restrict development and use of properties. Environmental regulations in Florida can have significant impacts on real estate by restricting how properties can be developed and used, especially in environmentally sensitive areas. Question 23. Describe the process and significance of obtaining a certificate of occupancy. A. Indicates compliance with aesthetic standards. B. Required for living in a property, shows it meets building codes. C. Optional and only needed for commercial properties. Answer. B. Required for living in a property, shows it meets building codes. A certificate of occupancy is crucial as it confirms that a building is in compliance with all building codes and is safe for occupancy. Question 24. What are the legal effects of not disclosing known defects in a property? A. No effects. Buyers purchase at own risk. B. Sellers can be held liable for damages. C. Defects are always covered by insurance. Answer. B. Sellers can be held liable for damages. In Florida, failure to disclose known defects in a property can lead to legal action, where sellers might be held liable for damages incurred by the buyer. Question 25. How do property taxes affect real estate ownership in Florida? A. They do not affect ownership. B. Can lead to a lion or foreclosure if unpaid. C. Are optional for residential properties. Answer. B. Can lead to a lion or foreclosure if unpaid. Property taxes are a significant aspect of real estate ownership in Florida, and failing to pay them can lead to liens or foreclosure on the property. Question 26. Explain the process of obtaining a mortgage in Florida. A. Buyer must pay in full before applying. B. Involves approval from the state. C. Includes credit check, appraisal, and proof of income. Answer. C. Includes credit check, appraisal, and proof of income. Obtaining a mortgage in Florida involves several steps, including a credit check, an appraisal of the property, and proof of the buyer's income to ensure they can afford the mortgage. Question 27. What are the legal responsibilities of a real estate agent during a property transaction? A. Only to provide transport to clients. B. To represent the client's interests ethically and legally. C. To ensure the property sells above market value. Answer. B. To represent the client's interests ethically and legally. Real estate agents in Florida are legally responsible for representing their clients' interests ethically and legally throughout the transaction process. Question 28. How does bankruptcy affect real estate transactions in Florida? A. It cancels all real estate transactions. B. It may delay or nullify transactions if the property is an asset in the case. C. No effect on real estate transactions. Answer. B. It may delay or nullify transactions if the property is an asset in the case. Bankruptcy can significantly impact real estate transactions in Florida, especially if the property in question is considered an asset in the bankruptcy filings. Question 29. What is a comparative market analysis, CMA, and how is it used in real estate? A. A tax assessment used for setting property taxes. B. A method for valuing property based on similar, recently sold properties. C. A survey of property features and defects. Answer. B. A method for valuing property based on similar, recently sold properties. A CMA is used in Florida real estate to help determine the asking or selling price of a property by comparing it to similar properties that have recently been sold in the area. Question 30. Explain the concept of a buyer's agent in Florida real estate. A. Represents the seller only. B. Represents the buyer and acts in their best interest. C. Is illegal in Florida. Answer. B. Represents the buyer and acts in their best interest. A buyer's agent in Florida real estate is tasked with representing the buyer exclusively in the transaction and acts solely in the buyer's best interest. Question 31. How does the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, impact real estate in Florida? A. It is not applicable to real estate. B. Requires commercial properties to be accessible to people with disabilities. C. Only applies to residential properties. Answer. B. Requires commercial properties to be accessible to people with disabilities. The ADA impacts real estate in Florida by requiring that commercial and certain public properties be accessible to individuals with disabilities, ensuring equal access for all. Question 32. What is the process for resolving disputes between landlords and tenants? A. Immediate eviction of the tenant. B. Through court or mediation according to state laws. C. Landlords always decide the outcome. Answer. B. Through court or mediation according to state laws. In Florida, disputes between landlords and tenants are typically resolved through legal channels such as court proceedings or mediation, according to state and local laws. Question 33. What are the implications of the Coastal Construction Control Line in Florida real estate? A. No construction allowed near the coastline. B. Regulates construction to protect beach and dune systems. C. Only affects commercial properties. Answer. B. Regulates construction to protect beach and dune systems. The Coastal Construction Control Line in Florida is a regulatory boundary that governs construction activities to protect the state's beach and dune systems from being adversely affected by buildings. Question 34. How do lines affect property titles in Florida? A. They have no effect. B. Can prevent sale or refinancing until cleared. C. Increase property value. Answer. B. Can prevent sale or refinancing until cleared. Liens on a property in Florida can impede the sale or refinancing of the property until they are resolved or cleared. Question 35. What must a real estate agent disclose about a property's flood risk in Florida? A. Nothing, as it's the buyer's responsibility to research. B. Only if the property has flooded previously. C. Known flood risks must be disclosed to potential buyers. Answer. C. Known flood risks must be disclosed to potential buyers. In Florida, real estate agents are required to disclose any known flood risks to potential buyers as part of their duty to inform about material facts that could affect the property's value or desirability. Question 36. How do zoning laws impact property use in Florida? A. No impact, as there are no zoning laws. B. Determine how properties can be used or developed. C. Only affect property colors and external decorations. Answer. B. Determine how properties can be used or developed. Zoning laws in Florida significantly impact how properties can be used or developed, including specifying types of allowable structures, land uses, and other development standards. Question 37. What are the requirements for transferring real estate titles in Florida? A. No requirements. Transfers are automatic. B. Proper documentation and compliance with state laws. C. Only a verbal agreement is needed. Answer B. Proper documentation and compliance with state laws. Transferring real estate titles in Florida requires proper documentation and must comply with state laws to ensure the legality of the transfer. Question 38. Explain the significance of lead-based paint disclosures in real estate transactions. A. Only required for commercial properties. B. Mandatory for homes built before 1978. C. Not required under Florida law. Answer B. Mandatory for homes built before 1978. In Florida, as in the rest of the U.S., it is mandatory to disclose the presence of lead-based paint in real estate transactions if the home was built before 1978 due to health risks associated with lead exposure. Question 39. What is the role of the escrow agent in Florida real estate transactions? A. To inspect the property. B. To manage the exchange of documents and funds. C. To represent the buyer. Answer B. To manage the exchange of documents and funds. The escrow agent in Florida real estate transactions acts as a neutral third party who manages the exchange of documents and funds between the buyer and seller to ensure a smooth and impartial transaction. Question 40. How is property insurance typically handled in Florida real estate deals? A. Optional and rarely used. B. Buyer must secure insurance before closing. C. Included in property taxes. Answer B. Buyer must secure insurance before closing. In Florida, it is typical for the buyer to secure property insurance before closing to protect against losses from damages such as hurricanes, which are common in the state. Question 41. What are as-is sales in the context of Florida real estate? A. Properties that can be returned within 30 days. B. Properties sold in their current condition without warranties. C. Sales that are fully insured by the seller. Answer B. Properties sold in their current condition without warranties. In Florida, an as-is sale means the property is sold in its current condition, and the seller will not make repairs or offer warranties regarding the property's condition. Question 42. Explain the concept of dual agency in Florida real estate. A. Illegal. One agent cannot represent both buyer and seller. B. A common practice where one agent represents multiple properties. C. Required for all commercial transactions. Answer A. Illegal. One agent cannot represent both buyer and seller. In Florida, dual agency is illegal, meaning a single agent cannot represent both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction to prevent conflicts of interest. Question 43. How do deed restrictions impact property use in Florida? A. They limit colors and designs of buildings. B. They can dictate land use, architectural style, and other property aspects. C. No impact, as they are suggestions only. Answer B. They can dictate land use, architectural style, and other property aspects. Deed restrictions in Florida can significantly influence how properties are used and developed, including limitations on land use, architectural styles, and other aspects to maintain a certain standard within a community. Question 44. What are the requirements for a real estate agent to represent both the buyer and the seller? A. Must have a special dual agency license. B. Not allowed under Florida law. C. Only with written consent from both parties. Answer C. Only with written consent from both parties. In Florida, a real estate agent may represent both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction only if both parties provide informed written consent, acknowledging the potential for a conflict of interest. Question 45. What is the role of the appraisal in a real estate transaction? A. To determine the seller's credit score. B. To assess the market value of the property for the lender. C. To inspect for structural damage. Answer B. To assess the market value of the property for the lender. The appraisal in a real estate transaction primarily serves to determine the property's market value to ensure the lender is not providing a loan for more than the property is worth. Question 46. Describe the legal consequences of not adhering to building codes in Florida. A. Minimal fines only. B. May lead to legal penalties and mandatory corrections. C. No consequences as codes are advisory. Answer. B. May lead to legal penalties and mandatory corrections. Not adhering to building codes in Florida can result in significant legal consequences, including fines, mandatory corrections, and even criminal charges, depending on the violation severity. Question 47. How does the right of first refusal work in real estate? A. Allows a tenant to break their lease without penalty. B. Gives a party the opportunity to match a purchase offer before it is sold to someone else. C. Automatically transfers property ownership after rental. Answer. B. Gives a party the opportunity to match a purchase offer before it is sold to someone else. The right of first refusal in real estate allows a designated party, such as a tenant or adjacent property owner, the option to buy a property by matching another valid offer before the property can be sold to someone else. Question 48. What is the impact of the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RDSPA, on closing procedures? A. Eliminates all closing costs. B. Requires disclosures regarding all costs and prohibits certain kickbacks. C. Only applies to commercial properties. Answer. B. Requires disclosures regarding all costs and prohibits certain kickbacks. RESPA impacts closing procedures by requiring that all parties in a residential real estate transaction receive disclosures regarding the costs of the transaction, and it prohibits practices such as kickbacks among settlement service providers. Question 49. Explain the Florida law regarding the revocation of a real estate license. A. Licenses cannot be revoked under any circumstances. B. Revocation can occur for violations like fraud or unethical conduct. C. Only possible after 20 years of practice. Answer. B. Revocation can occur for violations like fraud or unethical conduct. Under Florida law, a real estate license can be revoked if the licensee is found guilty of serious violations such as fraud, misrepresentation, or any other conduct that significantly breaches trust. Question 50. What is the process for appealing a property assessment in Florida? A. No appeal process available. B. Through a formal review by the local property appraiser's office. C. Automatically reviewed every 5 years. Answer. B. Through a formal review by the local property appraiser's office. In Florida, property assessments can be appealed through a formal review process where the property owner presents evidence that the assessment exceeds the property's fair market value to the local property appraiser's office. Question 51. How does the Fair Credit Reporting Act affect real estate financing? A. It does not apply to real estate. B. Ensures lenders provide accurate credit information to consumers. C. Only affects rentals. Answer. B. Ensures lenders provide accurate credit information to consumers. The Fair Credit Reporting Act affects real estate financing by ensuring that lenders and credit agencies provide accurate and complete credit information to consumers, which can influence loan approvals and conditions. Question 52. What is required for a real estate agent to claim commission under Florida law? A. The agent must be related to the buyer. B. Completion of the transaction and a written agreement. C. Approval from the FREC for each transaction. Answer. B. Completion of the transaction and a written agreement. In Florida, a real estate agent can claim commission on a transaction only after its completion, and if there is a written agreement stipulating the agent's entitlement to commission. Question 53. Describe the process of land acquisition for development in Florida. A. Only possible through government auctions. B. Must comply with local zoning laws and may require environmental impact assessments. C. No restrictions on land development. Answer. B. Must comply with local zoning laws and may require environmental impact assessments. The process of land acquisition for development in Florida must comply with various regulations, including local zoning laws and potentially environmental impact assessments, to ensure the development is suitable for its location and minimizes negative impacts on the environment. Question 54. What are the guidelines for advertising rental properties in Florida? A. No guidelines. Landlords can advertise in any manner. B. Must be truthful and not discriminatory. C. Advertising is not allowed. Answer. B. Must be truthful and not discriminatory. Guidelines for advertising rental properties in Florida require that all advertisements be truthful, not misleading, and free from any discriminatory language or content, in accordance with fair housing laws. Question 55. Explain the legal framework for condominium development in Florida. A. No specific laws, treated like any other property. B. Governed by specific statutes that outline developer obligations and unit owner rights. C. Only federal laws apply. Answer. B. Governed by specific statutes that outline developer obligations and unit owner rights. Condominium development in Florida is governed by specific state statutes that provide a legal framework outlining the responsibilities of developers and the rights of unit owners, ensuring proper management and operation of condominiums. Question 56. What are the implications of non-payment of homeowners association (HOA) fees in Florida? A. No significant implications. B. May result in liens against the property and legal action. C. HOA fees are voluntary. Answer. B. May result in liens against the property and legal action. Non-payment of HOA fees in Florida can lead to significant legal implications, including the placement of liens against the property and possible legal action to recover owed amounts, potentially leading to foreclosure in severe cases. Question 57. How does the Truth in Lending Act, TILA, affect real estate transactions? A. It regulates the leasing of properties. B. Requires clear disclosure of credit terms and costs to consumers. C. Does not apply to real estate. Answer. B. Requires clear disclosure of credit terms and costs to consumers. The Truth in Lending Act, TILA, affects real estate transactions by requiring lenders to provide borrowers with clear and conspicuous disclosures about the terms of credit and the costs associated with borrowing, aiming to promote informed use of credit. Question 58. What legal protections are afforded to buyers in a real estate contract in Florida? A. Buyers have no specific legal protections. B. Right to a cooling-off period and inspections. C. Only sellers are protected by law. Answer. B. Right to a cooling-off period and inspections. Buyers in Florida real estate contracts are afforded legal protections, such as the right to a cooling-off period, during which they can reconsider their purchase, and the right to conduct property inspections to assess the condition of the property before finalizing the sale. Question 59. How is earnest money handled in Florida real estate transactions? A. It is typically held by the real estate agency. B. Held in an escrow account until the completion of the transaction. C. Given directly to the seller as a gift. Answer. B. Held in an escrow account until the completion of the transaction. Earnest money in Florida real estate transactions is usually held in an escrow account managed by a third party until the transaction is completed, ensuring that these funds are protected and properly allocated according to the terms of the contract. Question 60. What are the specific rules governing leasing agreements in Florida? A. There are no specific rules. It's based on federal law only. B. Must comply with state statutes that regulate rental agreements and tenant rights. C. Leasing is discouraged and minimally regulated. Answer: B. Must comply with state statutes that regulate rental agreements and tenant rights. Leasing agreements in Florida must adhere to specific state statutes that provide regulations concerning the terms of rental agreements, the rights of tenants, and the obligations of landlords, ensuring fair and equitable treatment for all parties involved. Question 61. Describe the implications of the Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act in Florida. A. Regulates the lease of farmland only. B. Provides consumer protection in the sale or lease of land. C. Applies only to commercial property transactions. Answer: B. Provides consumer protection in the sale or lease of land. The Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act aims to prevent fraudulent marketing schemes in the sale or lease of land, offering protections such as the right to cancel within a certain period and ensuring that developers provide accurate property reports to buyers. Question 62. What are the risks associated with buying foreclosed properties in Florida? A. There are no risks. It's always profitable. B. Potential for outstanding lines, eviction of occupants, and property condition issues. C. Foreclosed properties are always sold as it is, without the possibility of inspection. Answer: B. Potential for outstanding lines, eviction of occupants, and property condition issues. Buying foreclosed properties in Florida can involve several risks, including the possibility of dealing with outstanding lines, the need to evict current occupants, and often uncertain property conditions due to lack of access prior to purchase. Question 63. How does the Florida Real Estate Commission regulate online property listings? A. No regulation is applied to online listings. B. Requires all listings to provide accurate and non-misleading information. C. Only allows licensed agents to list properties online. Answer: B. Requires all listings to provide accurate and non-misleading information. The Florida Real Estate Commission ensures that all online property listings provide accurate and honest information to protect consumers from fraudulent or misleading advertisements. Question 64. What is required for an out-of-state real estate agent to operate in Florida? A. No requirements. They can operate freely. B. Must obtain a reciprocal license if their state has a mutual agreement with Florida. C. Must pass the Florida Real Estate Exam. Answer: B. Must obtain a reciprocal license if their state has a mutual agreement with Florida. Out-of-state real estate agents can operate in Florida if they obtain a reciprocal license, provided their home state has a reciprocity agreement with Florida, allowing them to work under certain conditions without redoing all licensing requirements. Question 65. Describe the legal requirements for a Florida real estate brokerage to operate as a corporation. A. Must register with the SEC. B. Needs a licensed broker to act as the president or managing director. C. No specific requirements are needed. Answer: B. Needs a licensed broker to act as the president or managing director. A Florida real estate brokerage operating as a corporation is required to have a licensed broker serve as the president or managing director to ensure compliance with real estate laws and regulations. Question 66. What are the penalties for practicing real estate without a license in Florida? A. A small fine. B. Can lead to significant fines and criminal charges. C. No penalties are enforced. Answer: B. Can lead to significant fines and criminal charges. Practicing real estate without a license in Florida is illegal and can result in severe penalties, including hefty fines and potential criminal charges, to protect consumers from unqualified agents. Question 67. How does the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act impact real estate properties? A. It restricts smoking in public areas within buildings. B. No impact on real estate properties. C. Only affects residential properties. Answer: A. It restricts smoking in public areas within buildings. The The Florida Clean Indoor Air Act impacts real estate properties by restricting smoking in public indoor areas, which can affect commercial properties such as offices, restaurants, and other public spaces, requiring compliance to ensure a smoke-free environment. Question 68. What are the legal requirements for conducting real estate auctions in Florida? A. Auctions are not allowed for real estate. B. Must be conducted by a licensed auctioneer. C. Anyone can conduct a real estate auction. Answer. B. Must be conducted by a licensed auctioneer. In Florida, real estate auctions must be conducted by a licensed auctioneer to ensure that the process is carried out professionally and legally, providing protection for both buyers and sellers. Question 69. Describe the legal requirements for forming a real estate investment trust, REIT. In Florida, A. No specific legal requirements exist. B. Must register with the Florida Real Estate Commission. C. Must comply with both state and federal regulations. Answer. C. Must comply with both state and federal regulations. Forming a real estate investment trust, REIT, in Florida requires compliance with specific state and federal regulations to ensure proper management, financial reporting, and investor protections. Question 70. What are the rules for handling client funds by real estate agents in Florida? A. Can be used for personal expenses. B. Must be kept in a separate escrow account. C. There are no specific rules. Answer. B. Must be kept in a separate escrow account. Real estate agents in Florida are required to keep client funds in a separate escrow account to safeguard these funds from misuse, ensuring that they are only used for their intended purpose in real estate transactions. Question 71. How do Florida laws address rate-in disclosure in real estate transactions? A. Disclosure is not required. B. Sellers must provide a rate-in disclosure statement to buyers. C. Only required for commercial properties. Answer. B. Sellers must provide a rate-in disclosure statement to buyers. In Florida, sellers are required to inform buyers about the presence of radon in the property or the results of any radon testing conducted as part of the property disclosure requirements to ensure the buyers are aware of potential health risks. Question 72. What is the process for a real estate agent to renew their license in Florida? A. Renewal is automatic. B. Must complete continuing education courses and apply for renewal. C. No renewal is necessary once licensed. Answer. B. Must complete continuing education courses and apply for renewal. Real estate agents in Florida must complete required continuing education courses and submit a renewal application to maintain their license and ensure they are up to date with current real estate practices and laws. Question 73. How do local historic preservation laws affect property renovations in Florida? A. There are no restrictions on renovations in historic districts. B. Renovations in historic districts must comply with local preservation laws. C. Only state laws apply. Local laws are not considered. Answer. B. Renovations in historic districts must comply with local preservation laws. In Florida, property renovations within historic districts need to adhere to local historic preservation laws, which may require maintaining certain architectural features and obtaining approvals to ensure the historical integrity of the area is preserved. Question 74. What are the legal requirements for installing smoke detectors in rental properties? A. Smoke detectors are optional. B. Landlords must ensure smoke detectors are installed and operational. C. Only necessary in buildings with 3 or more stories. Answer. B. Landlords must ensure smoke detectors are installed and operational. In Florida, landlords are legally required to install and maintain smoke detectors in rental properties to meet safety standards and protect the lives of tenants. Question 75. How does Florida law regulate short-term vacation rentals? A. Short-term rentals are banned. B. Regulated at the state level, with specific requirements for licensing and operation. C. No regulations exist. Answer: B. Regulated at the state level with specific requirements for licensing and operation. Florida law regulates short term vacation rentals by setting state level guidelines that may include licensing, safety regulations, and operational rules to ensure that these rentals meet certain standards and do not negatively impact local communities. Question 76. What are the rules regarding the sale of agricultural land in Florida? A. There are no specific rules. B. Must be sold only to certified farmers. C. Sale of agricultural land may require state approval and compliance with certain agricultural criteria. Answer: C. Sale of agricultural land may require state approval and compliance with certain agricultural criteria. In Florida, the sale of agricultural land is sometimes subject to state approval and must meet specific criteria to ensure that the land remains available for agricultural use and that the sale aligns with agricultural conservation objectives. Question 77. Describe the impact of the Homeowners Protection Act on private mortgage insurance. A. Requires lenders to automatically cancel P&I when the mortgage balance reaches 78% of the original value. B. Allows homeowners to cancel P&I anytime. C. No impact on private mortgage insurance. Answer: A. Requires lenders to automatically cancel P&I when the mortgage balance reaches 78% of the original value. The Homeowners Protection Act impacts private mortgage insurance by requiring lenders to automatically terminate P&I on residential mortgages once the loan balance falls to 78% of the home's original appraised value, provided the homeowner is in good standing. Question 78. What is required for compliance with the Florida Energy Efficiency Code for building construction? A. Buildings must have solar panels installed. B. Compliance with specific standards for energy efficiency in new construction and renovations. C. No specific requirements, voluntary compliance. Answer: B. Compliance with specific standards for energy efficiency in new construction and renovations. The Florida Energy Efficiency Code for building construction requires that new buildings and significant renovations comply with established energy efficiency standards, which can include aspects like insulation, windows, and HVAC systems to reduce energy consumption. Question 79. How do changes in marital status affect property titles in Florida? A. Marital status changes do not affect property titles. B. May require changes to property deeds if the property is owned jointly. C. Property automatically becomes community property. Answer: B. May require changes to property deeds if the property is owned jointly. In Florida, changes in marital status can affect property titles, especially if the property is owned jointly. Such changes may necessitate updates to property deeds to reflect the current ownership status and rights of the parties involved. Question 80. What legal steps must be taken when a property owner dies without a will in Florida? A. Property is automatically transferred to the state. B. Property is distributed according to Florida's intestacy laws. C. No legal steps are necessary. Family members can assume ownership. Answer: B. Property is distributed according to Florida's intestacy laws. When a property owner in Florida dies without a will, legal steps must be taken to distribute the property according to state intestacy laws, which determine heirs based on familial relationships and ensure that the property is transferred according to legal succession rights. Question 81. How do tax lines affect property sales in Florida? A. Tax lines must be cleared before a sale can proceed. B. Tax lines do not affect property sales. C. Only affect sales that are financed through mortgages. Answer: A. Tax lines must be cleared before a sale can proceed. In Florida, tax lines on a property must be satisfied or cleared before the sale can proceed to ensure that the title passes free and clear to the new owner. Question 82. What are the regulations for real estate signs on properties? A. Signs can be placed without any restrictions. B. Must comply with local zoning laws regarding size and placement. C. Only digital signs are permitted. Answer: B. Must comply with local zoning laws regarding size and placement. Real estate signs in Florida must adhere to local zoning regulations, which can dictate the size, placement, and sometimes the duration that signs can be displayed to maintain community standards and aesthetics. Question 83. How does electronic recording of real estate documents work in Florida? A. Documents must be submitted in person. B. Allows for documents to be recorded quickly and securely online. C. Is not permitted. All documents must be physically recorded. Answer: B. Allows for documents to be recorded quickly and securely online. Electronic recording of real estate documents in Florida enables documents to be submitted and recorded online, facilitating faster transactions and reducing the risk of lost paperwork. Question 84. Describe the foreclosure process for a homestead property in Florida. A. Homestead properties are exempt from foreclosure. B. Follows standard foreclosure procedures, but with additional protections for homeowners. C. Foreclosure process is expedited for homestead properties. Answer: B. Follows standard foreclosure procedures, but with additional protections for homeowners. In Florida, while homestead properties are subject to foreclosure, they enjoy certain protections, such as limits on forced sale, providing some safeguarding of the homeowner's primary residence under state law. Question 85. What is the procedure for evicting a tenant in Florida? A. Landlords can evict tenants without notice. B. Requires a court order after providing proper notice. C. Tenants can only be evicted on lease expiration. Answer: B. Requires a court order after providing proper notice. In Florida, the eviction of a tenant must follow legal procedures, which include providing the tenant with proper notice and obtaining a court order to ensure that the process respects the tenant's rights and follows due process. Question 86. How does Florida's Save Our Homes Act impact property taxes? A. Limits annual increases in assessed property values. B. Reduces property taxes for all homeowners. C. Offers a one-time tax credit. Answer: A. Limits annual increases in assessed property values. Florida's Save Our Homes Act caps the annual increase in assessed value of homestead properties to a maximum of 3% per year, or the change in the Consumer Price Index, whichever is lower, helping to stabilize property taxes. Question 87. What legal issues arise from boundary disputes between property owners? A. No legal issues arise. Disputes are purely personal. B. Can lead to lawsuits requiring legal resolution and surveys. C. Always resolved by local government without litigation. Answer: B. Can lead to lawsuits requiring legal resolution and surveys. Boundary disputes between property owners in Florida can lead to legal issues that may require resolution through lawsuits, often necessitating property surveys to determine the precise boundaries. Question 88. How are water rights handled in Florida real estate law? A. Water rights are not recognized. B. Property owners have absolute rights to all water on their property. C. Governed by the doctrine of reasonable use. Answer: C. Governed by the doctrine of reasonable use. In Florida, water rights are typically handled under the doctrine of reasonable use, which allows property owners to use water resources as long as the use is reasonable relative to other users and does not harm the water source. Question 89. What are the implications of the Growth Management Act on property development? A. It restricts all new development. B. Mandates that development complies with comprehensive local plans. C. Only applies to residential developments. Answer: B. Mandates that development complies with comprehensive local plans. The Florida Growth Management Act requires that property development is consistent with state and local comprehensive plans, ensuring that growth is managed and sustainable. Question 90. How do federal wetlands regulations impact real estate development in Florida? A. No impact, as state laws take precedence. B. Development may require permits if impacting wetlands. C. All development is banned in wetland areas. Answer. B. Development may require permits if impacting wetlands. Federal wetlands regulations can significantly impact real estate development in Florida, as development activities affecting wetlands may require specific permits to ensure environmental protection. Question 91. What are the responsibilities of a real estate agent regarding mold disclosure? A. No disclosure is required. B. Must disclose the presence of mold if known. C. Only disclose mold in commercial properties. Answer. B. Must disclose the presence of mold if known. In Florida, real estate agents are required to disclose any known mold presence in a property, as it is considered a material fact that could affect a buyer's decision. Question 92. How does the Americans with Disabilities Act affect public access to commercial properties? A. No effect on real estate. B. Requires that commercial properties be accessible to people with disabilities. C. Only applies to residential properties. Answer. B. Requires that commercial properties be accessible to people with disabilities. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, impacts real estate by requiring that commercial properties ensure public access is compliant with ADA standards, making them accessible to people with disabilities. Question 93. What are the common legal challenges in timeshare properties? A. There are no legal challenges. B. Disputes over usage rights and maintenance fees. C. Timeshares are exempt from legal disputes. Answer. B. Disputes over usage rights and maintenance fees. Timeshare properties often face legal challenges related to the allocation of usage rights, maintenance fees, and the management of the property, which can lead to disputes requiring legal resolution. Question 94. Describe the process for contesting a zoning decision in Florida. A. Zoning decisions are final and cannot be contested. B. May appeal to local zoning board or court. C. Only the state government can contest zoning decisions. Answer. B. May appeal to local zoning board or court. In Florida, individuals can contest zoning decisions by filing an appeal with the local zoning board or in court, providing a pathway to challenge decisions that they believe adversely affect their property or violate legal standards. Question 95. How does Florida law address landlord obligations for property maintenance? A. Landlords have no maintenance obligations. B. Requires landlords to maintain properties in safe and habitable condition. C. Maintenance is the sole responsibility of the tenant. Answer. B. Requires landlords to maintain properties in safe and habitable condition. Florida law requires landlords to fulfill certain maintenance obligations, ensuring that rental properties are kept in a safe and habitable condition, which includes necessary repairs and compliance with health and safety standards. Question 96. What are the consequences of not complying with the Florida Building Code? A. Minimal fines. B. May result in penalties, fines, or mandatory remediation. C. There are no specific penalties for non-compliance. Answer. B. May result in penalties, fines, or mandatory remediation. Non-compliance with the Florida Building Code can lead to significant legal consequences, including penalties, fines, and a requirement to undertake mandatory remediation to bring properties into compliance with state standards. Question 97. How are mineral rights handled in Florida property transactions? A. Automatically transfer with property sale. B. May be retained by the seller or previously severed. C. Mineral rights are not recognized in Florida. Answer. B. may be retained by the seller or previously severed. In Florida, mineral rights can be a complex issue in property transactions. They may be retained by the seller or could have been previously severed from the property rights, requiring careful examination during a transaction process. Question 98. What are the legal remedies for breach of real estate contracts in Florida? A. Termination of the contract only. B. May include specific performance, damages, or rescission. C. No legal remedies are available. Answer. B. May include specific performance, damages, or rescission. Legal remedies for breach of real estate contracts in Florida can vary, but may include options such as specific performance, compelling the completion of the contract, damages for losses incurred, or rescission to nullify the contract. Question 99. How do state and local taxes affect real estate transactions? A. Taxes are not applicable to real estate transactions. B. Can influence the overall cost and timing of transactions. C. Only federal taxes apply. Answer. B. Can influence the overall cost and timing of transactions. State and local taxes can significantly affect real estate transactions in Florida, influencing both the overall cost and the timing of transactions, including transfer taxes, property taxes, and potentially capital gains taxes. Question 100. What are the legal considerations for converting residential properties to commercial use in Florida? A. No legal considerations are necessary. B. Must comply with zoning laws and may require various permits and approvals. C. Conversion is automatically permitted. Answer. B. Must comply with zoning laws and may require various permits and approvals. Converting residential properties to commercial use in Florida requires compliance with local zoning laws and may necessitate obtaining various permits and approvals to ensure the new use is lawful and appropriate for its location.